On the news, Kaduna Tribunal affirms APC's Umar Sani's election, dismisses Ashiru PDP's petition. INEC laments as voters in Bayelsa, Kogi and Imo shun PVCs. And UNICEF says Nigeria urgently in need of $3.3 million for vaccination to curb rising cases of diphtheria. We begin the news in Kaduna, where the tribunal has upheld the election of Governor Umar Sani of the All Progressives Congress (APC) while dismissing the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and its candidate Isa Ashiru. In the judgment, two judges of the three-man panel led by Justice Victor Ovawe struck out the petition because the preliminary notice was filed out of time after the 21 days prescribed by the Constitution and was deemed to have been abandoned. However, one of the judges disagreed, saying that the preliminary notice was properly filed and was not abandoned. To speak more on this judgment is legal practitioner Liberos Oshoma. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, what do you make of this judgment over the Kaduna State governorship elections?
The majority judgment held that the petition was filed outside of the 21 days. Then the minority judgment held that it was within time. So the lead judgment was read by the presiding judge, and then one of the other panel members agreed with him while one member disagreed with him. So it is not that the two members disagreed with him that it was filed within time. So you have a split decision of 2 against 1. And so it is the majority judgment that is saying that the petition had been abandoned, while the minority judgment is stating that the election is inconclusive. So when you have a split decision of 2-1, it is majority judgment that that becomes the judgment of the day, while the minority judgment is just there as minority judgment. So that is why it's a panel of 3 and not a panel of 4, so that you don't have a tie, or a panel of 5 or a panel of 7. So as the case is, it's a constitutional requirement that once you do not file your petition within the stipulated time, then that petition is deemed abandoned. Or even if the petition is filed and the time for filing pre-hearing notice is not, the pre-hearing notice is not filed within time, the petition itself is deemed abandoned. And so once the petition is abandoned, the court cannot resurrect it. I think that is what is playing out here.
Are there still legal options available for the PDP candidate Isa Ashiru?
Yes, options are very available. You go to Court of Appeal and then you go to the Supreme Court. I know that both parties will cross appeal. The PDP candidate will appeal, and then the APC candidate will cross appeal until the matter gets to the Supreme Court. So at the tribunal level, it is just the first stage. The matter has 2 more steps to go. So this is just the first step until the Supreme Court finally determines it. The governor would still continue, provided he files an appeal within, 21 days, 14 days or so. Once he files an appeal, there's no need to ask for a stay of the judgment. The judgment is automatically stayed until the Supreme Court finally determines it. So this is just the first stage, and everybody will still hold on until the Supreme Court gives the judgment, just like the case of Oshun and some other cases where tribunal had, heard one way and then the Court of Appeal disagrees.
All right, legal expert Liberos Oshoma, thank you very much for your insights on the matter. To help matters now, the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has expressed concern over severe rapid cases of diphtheria in Nigeria, calling for urgent widespread vaccination. The UNICEF said effective to the outbreak, Nigeria needs to raise an additional $3.3 million by the end of the year. According to the organization, so far there have been 11,500 200 suspected cases, more than 7,000 confirmed cases, and 453 people, mostly children, have died from the disease. Most cases are children aged between 4 to 15 years who have not received even a single dose of the vital vaccine, laying bare the urgency of the vaccination situation in Nigeria. In a statement on Wednesday, UNICEF representative Ronak Khan disclosed the agency is providing urgent support to the Nigerian government in its efforts to combat the outbreak. Health experts have blamed the difficulty in diagnosing diphtheria as one of the factors responsible for the outbreak in Nigeria. In an interview with TV360 Nigeria, Elisha Jabani of the Federal Medical Center, Gusau, added that dense and highly connected rural and urban areas are potential hotspots for rapid spread of the disease. He urged the federal government to increase surveillance and vaccination efforts to curb the spread.
I think even with the low amount of production, the manufacturers, there should still be a surveillance, actually. Though I know the NCDC are trying the surveillance system where the chain of the making those vaccines available should still be in place. Some of those primary health care centers or health posts that are not functioning, I think there should be a means in which by the state government, at collaboration with the federal government under the Ministry of Health, we ensure that the little amount of vaccines reached out to these areas, more especially areas with this high rate of incidence of the outbreak of the diphtheria.
The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has denied entering into any agreements with the federal government to suspend the proposed indefinite strike slated to commence from October the 3rd. NLC's head of information and public affairs, Benson Upa, made this known in a statement on Tuesday, countering a statement by the Ministry of Labour and Employment. Upa also said the NLC did not have any date for a meeting with the government that may lead to the suspension of the proposed strike. Upa said that while the union does not intend to demean or minimize the office of the Minister of Labour and Employment, time all along, the matter is beyond the ministry. A chairman, Charitable Foundation for Teaching and Spreading of Arabic Language in Nigeria, Umar Mohammed, has described the use of languages as a veritable tool to foster peace, unity, and harmony in the country. Mohammed spoke at the second session of the Arabic Poetry Forum in Nigeria, organized in collaboration with the Department of Cultural Affairs, Department of Culture. Our correspondent, Emeka Mako, files in this report from Abuja. Nigeria is the third richest country in the world in terms of languages, as it boasts of 500 languages out of 7,000 in the world. Despite these impressive statistics, Nigeria's linguistic diversity is riddled in controversy, with no specific figure of languages in the country due to lack of survey. Speakers at this session believe that languages can be explored as a vehicle of communication which could dissuade terrorists and other criminal elements from taking up arms. In his keynote address, Umar Mohammed explained that if properly harnessed, languages could open new vistas of opportunities for the country.
Today, language is economics, politics, invasion of any type, politics. So with language, you can easily penetrate markets. When you teach people your language, they can communicate easily with you, then you can easily sell your products. This is in language. If there is no language, no communication, then there is that gap of communication, then you cannot be able to extend or to say what we want. You know, people in Nigeria should know and should learn. People in Nigeria should understand that learning Arabic as a language has so many potentials and has so many advantages for anybody who learns Arabic.
Speaking on the sidelines of the meeting, the Dean, Faculty of Arts at the University of Abuja, says Nigerians must own the process to stop the indigenous languages from going extinct.
We're encouraging this kind of fora to be coming up to enlighten people more why they should speak their mother tongue with their children, because Language is like a living being. If it is not spoken, it will die. I'm sure we're all aware that there are languages that used to exist. Today they are no longer there, like Latin. In Africa, some of them are at the level of extinction. So all we need to do is to be having this kind of awareness where people will come together, people are asked to sing their poems, sing their poems, present papers in their own mother tongue, in their own local languages. That will prevent the language from dying.
Linguists in Nigeria have called on the federal government to undertake language survey, documentation, and analysis of oral legislature and lexicon to have correct statistics of languages in the country and to prevent them from going to extinction. Over 241,715 permanent voter cards have yet to be collected by the voters in Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa states 2 weeks to the October 9, 2023 deadline issued by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for the collection of the cards ahead of the November 11 off-cycle governorship polls in the three states, while 107,715 voter cards were awaiting collection in Kogi. No fewer than 134,000 had yet to be claimed by prospective voters in Imo State. However, the figure of unclaimed PVCs in Bayelsa State is unavailable. INEC has, however, said it will not extend the PVCs collection in the state and admonished registered voters not to delay in picking up their cards. The Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman, Rotimi Oyekomi, said the Kogi State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Gabriel Longpet, both affirmed that there was no going back on the October 9 deadline. In commemoration of Nigeria's 63rd Independence Day anniversary, the federal government has declared Monday, October the 2nd, 2023 as a public holiday. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, made the declaration in Abuja on behalf of the federal government on Thursday, according to a statement by the ministry's permanent secretary, Oluwatoyin Akinlade. The minister assured Nigerians of President Bola Tinubu-led administration's continued commitment to tackling the challenges facing the country. Tunji Ojo said the greatness ahead of the country was achievable if all citizens worked together in unity. I will go on a short break here, but still to come, 4 officers detained after thwarted Burkina Faso coup. Stay with us for details of this and other stories when we return.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, the truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Corruption not in my country.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
My name is Alera. I am not sick. I just need you to help put your stamp on this medical report. I want to tender it at my office as a sick leave. I'll pay 10,000 naira.
Ma'am, that is impersonation. I'm not a doctor.
Oga, be like say this English no go pay. I go increase the money to 20,000 naira. I beg. You know, if I give you that 20,000, as you ride, so if it still help your condition more. So you know, say you spread well.
As I spread like virus, I'll be.
You talk. Come
out! If person come your hospital, talk to make you give am fake medical report, make you go take collect sick leave. Talk and say no, na corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. The Kaduna Governorship Tribunal has upheld the election of Governor Umar Sani of the All Progressives Congress (APC) while dismissing the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and its candidate Isa Ashiru. In the judgment, 2 judges of the 3-man panel led by Justice Victor Oviawe struck out the petition because the preliminary notice was filed out of time after the 21 days prescribed by the Constitution and was deemed to have been abandoned. However, one of the judges disagreed, saying that the preliminary notice was properly filed and was not abandoned. We also told you that the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has expressed concern over severe rapid cases of diphtheria in Nigeria, calling for urgent widespread vaccination. The UNICEF said effective to the outbreak, Nigeria needs to raise an additional $3.3 million by the end of the year. According to the organization, so far there have been 11,500 suspected cases, more than 7,000 confirmed cases, and 453 people, mostly children, who have died from the disease. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store and Huawei App Gallery. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. In business, Abia State is set to flag off the foundation laying ceremony of Nigeria's largest industrial park in Owaza, Ukwa West local government area of the state on September the 30th. Speaking at the celebration of China's 74th anniversary in Lagos State, Abia State Governor Alex Otti said the establishment of the industrial park is necessary given the presence of oil in this state. The park, according to him, will house a modular refinery, gas plant, real estate, and incubation center, among other facilities.
The port is still proposed because Owaza is about 25 nautical miles from the Atlantic Ocean. So we believe that with a little dredging, part of the facilities that the industrial park would have would be a seaport that would give access to the sea. It's going to be an export processing zone, and it's also going to be a free trade zone. We have a timeline of 24 months from the 30th of September when we do groundbreaking.
With the challenge of pipeline vandalism lingering in the country, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has spent almost 34.4 billion naira to repair and manage pipelines in 18 months. In the first 6 months of 2021, the NNPCL disclosed that a total of 350 pipeline points have been vandalized, and it has also been in collaboration with the local communities and other stakeholders to continuously reduce the menace. Speaking to TV360 Nigeria in an interview, oil and gas expert Somi Iranta said there is a need to review and reset the relationships between government, oil companies and communities as a first step to tackle pipeline vandalism.
I think it will be important for the government to take cognizance to the fact that the communities concerned should be saddled with the responsibility of protecting the pipeline as it passes through their community. You know, because it is always easier for you to know what goes on within your community. It's like kind of neighborhood watch, so to say, because it will be a little bit more difficult for somebody to come from another community to now guard and protect what is in another community. You know, you can't rule out the possibilities of sabotage and the likes. So it will be more profitable, you know, and more beneficial to the nation if we can have different communities, the groups, whether we call them militants or whatever you want to call them, vigilantes, to take care of the pipeline as it passes and as it crosses through their community.
We'll take a break, but up next is Stock Market Report, so stay with us. Just one day away from the last trading day in the month of September, and the NGX is set to witness a positive trading day this week. On 0.31%, that's the all-share index, as the market closed still at the 66,000 level. We have Vitafoam and FTN Cocoa taking the biggest hit, as both equities closed with a combined 3 naira 52 kobo. A summary of today's trading shows declines in volume, value and deals. Despite the market's poor trading, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, Temi Popola, has said that the current tax reforms being implemented by President Tinubu's administration will harness the potential of the capital market to create value and achieve its objectives while delivering returns to investors. Investors will remain hopeful for positive trading days. A switch to our select global stocks, that's the US and UK stocks, which are trading up, looking to recover some losses after the Federal Reserve's higher for longer stance on interest rates drove markets lower over the past week. On the global scene, Burkina Faso says 4 officers have been detained after the military government announced it had thwarted a coup attempt. In a statement by the country's military prosecutor, the 4 officers are suspected of involvement in a conspiracy against state security. The statement also added that 2 others are on the run. On Wednesday, the junta said the intelligence and security services had foiled a coup attempt planned by army officers and others the previous day. Expressing displeasure in the attempted coup by the army officers, the military government says it would seek to shed all possible light on the plot. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Nollywood producers Funke Akindele and her ex-husband JJ Skills were spotted exchanging warm hugs and dancing together at the premiere of their movie She Must Be Obeyed. And the video captured at the event, the ex-couples were seen dancing together and having a great time at the premiere of the movie directed and produced by the duo before their messy separation in June 2022. Their brief exchange has been to the delight of those present at the event as well as their fans online. Despite their marriage eating the rocks, the two seem to be on good terms, following each other back on Instagram and being cordial, proving that an amicable relationship is possible after divorce. Veteran actor Sir Mike Gambon, who was best known for his portrayal of Hogwarts headmaster Albus Dumbledore in 6 of the 8 Harry Potter films, has died. Announced by his publicist on September 28, Gambon was said to have died peacefully on his hospital bed following a bout of pneumonia. Born in Ireland, the late actor began his illustrious career in theatre, making his first appearance on the stage in a production of Othello at the Gate Theatre in the Irish capital Dublin in 1962. Gambon was knighted for his contribution to the entertainment industry. That's it on the entertainment segment of News Now. Tamilore Akinkunle, TV360 Lagos.
Finally, on sports, Napoli manager Rudy Garcia says the club didn't intend to hurt Victor Osimhen with a controversial TikTok video. The club had shared a video on their TikTok account which appeared to be mocking Osimhen after he missed a penalty in the club's goalless draw against Bologna last weekend. Osimhen had threatened to take legal action against the club and has also taken down all images of him in Napoli's jersey on his Instagram account. Commenting on the issues surrounding the club after the game, Garcia admitted that the club has been faced with a bit of trouble since the weekend game. And that's it on News Now at this hour. Thank you for watching. I'm Simisola Article.